This is a video about why journaling is potentially the most powerful tool if you are a creative person. One of the biggest problems I face in my creative journey is focus, what to do and when to do it. A lack of certainty in any creative activity, whether that be filmmaking, photography, writing, anything really, is a surefire way to get yourself stuck into a creative rut. This will inevitably manifest itself as procrastination, a lack of priorities, and for me it's just too much stuff going on in my head. The complex process of unraveling all of my internal thoughts and musings really impacts my creativity. And creativity is so personal, it's going to be impacted by whatever is going on in your life and in your brain. To me, the easiest and most accessible way of sorting out all of that is journaling or just writing stuff down, if you'd prefer. I think that only when things have been written down can we truly start to make sense of what's going on in our minds. And in turn, that gives us the freedom to overcome creative challenges and work out what direction we want our creativity to take us in. As I go through this video, I'll explain a number of ways in which journaling has helped me not only with my creativity, but to be able to traverse life's greater problems. I know journaling is going to be new to a lot of people watching this video, so later on I'm going to go through the basics of journaling, when to journal, what to write in, and more importantly, what to write about. And on that note, I'll also be giving away some free journaling prompts, so keep an eye out for that as well. I've been journaling for around 11 years now, and I've got journaling to thank as my life now as a creative photographer / filmmaker. That unintentionally makes it sound like I'm some kind of a creative big deal, and I'm not at all. I'm just like you. I'm just someone that loves creativity. I'm someone that loves telling stories with my camera, and I'm just someone that wants to get better, not only creatively, but also at life as well. I'm also someone that's struggled along the way a lot. Creativity can be something that's really difficult to understand. It's something that evades us often when we need it most, and this can be for months at a time. It doesn't like to be forced. It cares not about your life or your schedule or your challenges. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. And we're often left having to work with that in the best way that we possibly can. For me, this has been an incredibly frustrating process, especially over the last 18 months or so, as I've wrangled with trying to get out of this bigger creative rut that I've been in. What I've learned is that I can do certain things in my life to almost tame my creativity, which in turn makes its ebbs and flows a little bit easier to predict and therefore work with. The most important thing I've learned is that I need to clear my mind. My creativity peaks when my mind is completely empty of distractions, anxieties, ruminations. Imagine it like a blank sheet of paper. If there's shit all over the paper, you cannot be expected to be able to draw anything. That's what my brain is like. But how do I clear all of this shit? It needs to go somewhere. Well, it goes in here. I know it all sounds a bit too simplistic, but think of it like filing. When these thoughts are filed away, they aren't getting in the way of me getting shit done. Journaling is by far the best thing to help me create this headspace, but it's not the only thing that works. I also try and cultivate creativity by practicing mindfulness and focusing on being present in the now. Whilst writing normally pushes us to think about the future or the past rather than be in the now, I found it to essentially park all these thoughts and focus more on the here and the now. This often leads to the presence that I seek, which is the path to having my best thoughts and ideas. It's impossible to remember everything, to do everything, and to organise everything in our mind and be present at the same time. Find that if we're anything else but the present moment, our creativity, our photography, our filmmaking invariably suffers. I like to journal physically, and every so often I'll buy myself a nice big book, or maybe even a little book, and a pen, Kel Surprise, just things that I enjoy writing with. As you may have noticed by my last video, I'm a big fan of physical media. Yeah, you can journal on a phone or a tablet or a laptop, and there's apps to do that. And I've actually used these apps before. Despite it being less efficient, writing to me just feels a bit more connected than typing out my thoughts using a keyboard or a phone. I like that journals are physical and tactile and can be flicked through. Try doing that on a phone. Plus, there's no distractions with these. Writing in this way makes you slow down. It gives your brain a chance to catch up with what's going on inside us. It completely mirrors the creative process Try and hurry it along and you won't actually really get anywhere. This slowing down forces us to think about things a little bit more and therefore gives us a bit more time to process them properly. Well, where am I going with this? Well, all of this helps you to focus. It gives the ideas space in your head to breathe and grow because all of the other stuff that you're trying to deal with has been filed away and isn't bothering you, hopefully. Finally, you can make sense of your thoughts, which, if you're anything like me, are generally all over the place. This is the one place you can be completely honest with yourself, and that honesty gives you the freedom to tackle so many other things in both your personal and creative life. Did I mention also that these things can massively reduce stress? I had a period in my life, probably about 8 years ago, where I was worried about literally everything and anything, and it was making me wake up at like 3 a.m. and just sit there and my mind would kick in and it'd just be going off at 100 miles an hour and I couldn't get back to sleep. And I actually had some cognitive behavioural therapy to help me through this, and one of these was recommended as part of that. And I put this next to my bed. I made a promise to myself that if I woke up and worried about stuff, I'd write it down and I'd put it in here and park it and give myself the opportunity to think about it the next day. Now, after a week or so of doing this, it got these thoughts out of my head and into this, and it actually made me able to go back to sleep straight away. A few more weeks of it and I just didn't wake up worrying in the middle of the night anymore. That is how powerful these can be. Now, it was really important to do it in this rather than a phone, because just using a phone in the middle of the night, that light it emits would just wake you up even more. It had to be in a journal. And all of this stuff I said, I think you have to believe that it's going to work if it is going to work for you. The belief makes you want to kind of commit to the practice of doing this. If you don't, then that's fine, but I really believe everyone should do this because I and so many other creatives have realised how beneficial this can be. I've worked through so much stuff in the last year just by journaling, and the power it has is actually mind-blowing. Hopefully I've given you enough of a reason to start journaling if you don't already. And if you don't, I really would urge you to get started. What's more, give it a chance. You can't tell how helpful this is going to be until you're a few months down the line. Trying it for a week and saying it isn't for you just isn't enough. You've not even got started. So how are you going to journal? Well, get yourself a notebook and a pen. These don't have to be fancy field notes books or Moleskines or anything expensive. Anything will do. But if you buy something that you do actually like, I think when you're starting a habit like this, having something you enjoy doing is going to give you more chance of it actually sticking. You're going to want to do it a bit more if you have a notebook and a pen you enjoy using. I'm not that fussy about what I use. This is a notebook from a place called Paperchase in the UK. I've got other ones which are Moleskines, which you can get off Amazon. And I am quite particular about my pens. These are a 0.4mm Pilot. I don't know if you can see it. Pilot G-Tech C4. I really like writing with these, and all of these are linked in the description down below. As I said before, you can journal on a phone or a laptop using an app. I've used the Day One app before, which is pretty good, but I wouldn't recommend it. But journaling on a phone is better than not journaling at all. All it takes is 10-15 minutes a day. You don't have to spend any longer than that. Obviously, you can if you want. I know some people will say that they don't have time. I honestly believe that anyone can find the time to do this. Whether or not you make that decision is completely up to you. What should you write down? Well, anything and everything. There's no correct way of journaling. You can't get it wrong. I just tend to empty my head. If I'm struggling, then I tend to write down what my struggles are, and that helps me work out solutions to those problems. I can find out where my creative blocks are and I can make changes to try and remove them. If I'm feeling positive, I let my mind run free and just get my ideas down onto paper because I never know how they might develop at a later date. Sometimes I might be drawing a bit of a blank, so then I'll refer to journaling prompts. Questions like, what's your biggest fear? Or when do you remember having the most fun in your life? These can really prompt interesting replies. I mean, who knows what sort of things our brains might kick up and then the impacts that these things might have. I've actually produced a list of journaling prompts and a short guide to journaling specifically for creatives. So if you're about to start journaling or if you already do it, I think this could potentially be helpful for you. And there's a link in the description below and it is totally free. So I'd urge you to grab that and see if that can help you on this journey. Also, if you have any good journaling prompts that you already use, list them in the comments below, because I think that could help anyone else that is trying to get into this and trying to free their mind up in this way. I usually write in the morning, first thing, and that helps me set my intention for the day. I often accompany it with 3 or 4 things that I want to achieve that day, and I try and have one of these things as something that's more for me and isn't work related, something that's going to help my well-being, like a walk outside or doing some exercise or going to a coffee shop and reading a book for an hour, anything like that that is going to kind of keep my stress levels low, I suppose. If I write in the evening, I try and write a bit of a review of the day, and I try and keep it very positive so that I'm going to bed on a positive note. If there aren't any negatives, I will address them and try and look for the positives within them. I think a bit of positive writing is so much better for our mental health and our sleep than sitting in bed doom scrolling. On that note, I've also started to try and recently write 3 things I'm grateful for each day. There's so many studies out there about the power that gratitude can have, and I really believe that looking for the good in this way does make a difference to my well-being and therefore to my creativity, which is what all this is about. I'd love to know how you get on with this. I truly believe that journaling is transformational, not only creatively, but in our lives as well. So I'd love to hear any stories about how journaling has helped you, or how it helps you as you take this up as a practice as a result of watching this video. Just quickly before I go, I am aware that I have been absent for about a month. December was just crazy and I just needed to take a step back for a little bit, both from writing my newsletters, which you can sign up to below, and from creating videos for this channel as well. I have managed to reset my mind using this and just having a bit of time away. So I'm really looking forward to the videos that I've got lined up for this year. I am currently partway through an A to Z series of camera creativity, and this is J for journaling. Please hit the subscribe button if you're interested in seeing the rest of the videos. I've got some pretty exciting stuff coming up, and I'm trying to make it a little bit different to normal photography channels and approach things from a sort of wider viewpoint rather than just how to use a camera, because I think so many things like journaling can play into our creativity. Creativity and photography and filmmaking is not just about using the camera. Everything that plays into it is how you live your life. And I'm trying to live more of an intentional life to basically improve my creativity and get better as a creative. And everything I talk about plays into that. So if that is something you're interested, like I say, please hit subscribe below, sign up to my newsletter, and it'd be great to have you as part of this sort of community of like-minded creatives that I'm trying to pull together, I guess. Finally, in my last video, I did mention I was giving away a year of masterclass course. I am going to send out the email to the lucky winner of that just after I publish this video. So thank you for everyone that signed up and entered into that. Thank you very much to everyone that has watched this. Happy New Year to you all. I am really excited about having you along for the journey of this channel over the next 12 months and beyond, hopefully. See you soon. If you like this video, you'll probably also enjoy this video about documenting your life, part of which leans heavily on journaling.